Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to work on some cheesy beef burritos. I've done this recipe a similar recipe before. This is just a little bit different. So I went ahead and browned 2 pounds of ground beef. I'm going to add a packet of taco seasoning before I drain it. And I'm going to put a little bit of water in here. Just like you normally would make taco meat. So you're going to want to do that. Medium-high heat. I'm going to go ahead and add my second pack of taco seasoning. Original recipe called for just 1, but I'm going to go ahead and put 2 in. I'm going to put some more water in. Alright, I've got it on medium-high heat so we can get this hot and bubbly. We're going to also add some garlic powder and some onion powder because I did not add fresh onion or fresh garlic to this. So I'm going to just add a little bit in. Garlic powder. Kind of half a teaspoon or so. And then some onion powder. Okay. So I'm going to get this hot and bubbly. And then we're going to drain it. We're going to add some of this cilantro lime rice in. It's already cooked. Just got to warm it up. Alright, so let me get this hot and bubbly and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all. So I have taco meat ready. I drained it. Now we're going to add our cilantro lime rice. And I'm just going to break it up. Try to break it up in the package if you can. And you can add 2 packs of the rice if you prefer it to be more, more rice than meat. Put it on low heat. Okay, just breaking this up. Alright, we're going to let this simmer just a few minutes and warm up. And then I'll be right back with you for the next step. Okay, y'all. So we're going to add a pouch of this. Just one little pouch. Maybe 2. I'll just have to see. So it's real easy, simple, throw together meal. It's a little bit different than just traditional tacos or burritos. So it kind of gives a new spin on it if you're kind of getting bored with that. I'm going to go ahead and put another pouch in, so I need 2 of those. I'm leaving this on low heat. Okay. And we're gonna just mix this around. And you won't have to add anything else to this. We're just gonna put it in a tortilla. We're gonna crisp up the tortilla in a dry skillet. And then it's ready to serve. It's really easy and simple. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and stuff this tortilla. And I'm gonna fold it in real fast. Hopefully I can do this without, here. I'm gonna move this. Dry skillet. Let me fold this in real fast before it gets too hot. Seam side down. We're gonna try to just toast up this tortilla just a little bit, and it'll be ready to serve. Okay, let's get a spatula. I'll turn this up on high just a little bit more to get it a little bit hotter. We can put a little bit of spray. Try to crisp it up just a little bit faster. And that kind of helps. Okay, y'all, so this is the finished product. We're gonna plate this up real quick. Put you a little bit of sour cream on top. Bit of salsa or sriracha. And then finish it off with a few green onions. Real easy and simple, and the perfect alternative to taco night. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are working on some spicy pork tenderloin. It's really simple, and it's not gonna take much to throw together. You need to take a 2-pack of pork tenderloin, because they usually come in 2 packs. And you're going to slice them long ways, like I did this one. So then it'd make 4 tenderloins, real small, slender, thin. And then you're going to cut as thin as you possibly can to make like little medallions. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to do the best you can, as about as thin as you can. It's anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch thick. And like I said, doesn't have to be perfect. So that's what I'm working on right now. And we're going to just cook these in a... We're going to kind of marinate them in a little bit of oil, salt, pepper, garlic, you know, the whole thing. And then you'll have a sauce that you'll make that goes with it. And then basically that's it. It doesn't have much to it at all. You spent most of the money on the actual meat, and usually you can get a 2-pack of Tenderloin for $10 or less. So that's what we're working on today. This one's got a really tough tissue membrane on the backside. I try to cut off as much as I can, but it's really hard to get it all off. So I'm just going to try to cut through it the best I can. As y'all know, we had a house fire, so we're staying in a rental house, and I don't have a lot of my things here to work with. So I'm having to just use what we have available to us. I did buy some things, of course, but I wasn't going to like fully deck out a brand new kitchen yet or anything like that. My things that I have are in storage, so can't get to those, so I'm just having to use what's here. So it's a little bit more difficult to try to film these videos with not having all my stuff. So we're going to just try to get through it the best we can, and I think we're making do all right, so I think it'll be fine. All right, so I've already got those cut up. Let me throw this little bit piece of fat away. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move this cutting board. I'm going to wash my hands. Oh, I'm a tired girl. Okay. I'm going to mix together just real quick some little bit of marinade to go on this. Well, I call it marinade. You don't have to call it that. I don't, you know. So we're going to need about 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. And this is the oil that I told y'all is like the best to have around. And you need to keep it in your fridge once you open it, because it will go rancid. And you're going to need about 2 tablespoons of this. So I'm going to try to get about 2 tablespoons out. Okay. Not perfect, but it'll work. You're going to need some pepper. And you're going to need about a teaspoon of pepper. So it's going to, you know, it's going to be a lot. And then I'm going to use a little bit of kosher salt. You're going to need about a teaspoon of that too. And I'm just going to shake it out because I don't want to get too much in here. All right. And garlic powder. Now I have, how much garlic powder do we need? We need a teaspoon. I have green onions, but I used them in another recipe, so I don't have enough. So I'm just going to put some onion powder in here, equivalent to about the same amount as the garlic powder, a teaspoon. And then you're going to stir this up. Okay, so I put everything in a bigger bowl. And then we're going to put this little bit of oil and stuff, oil and seasonings, on this meat. And we're going to set it aside because we're going to make our sauce. So let me just stir this up. To me, that's just not even nearly enough. But when we go to cook these, we have to cook them in a skillet, layer by layer, batch by batch. So if we have to add a little bit of cooking oil or olive oil or whatever, that'll be fine. All right. Okay, y'all. So we're going to make our sauce while the meat kind of marinates in that oil mixture. So you're going to need 1/3 cup of sriracha. A 1/4 cup of soy sauce. And I always use low sodium. 2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce. And I'm just using a plain barbecue sauce. But you can use whatever you would like. So that's going to be 2 tablespoons of that. Okay. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. little bit more in case those weren't precise. We're gonna need some garlic. Now you can do minced garlic, but all I have is powdered or garlic powder. So I'll do about a teaspoon of that. If you're gonna do fresh garlic, minced garlic, it's 2 tablespoons. We're gonna need another 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. So just 2 teaspoons. Okay. And a teaspoon of ground ginger. Make sure we got plenty of that. Trying to make sure I didn't leave anything out. No, that's it. All right, so we're gonna mix this together and we're gonna set this aside. All right, let me get the camera moved and get set up and let you see what we do next. Okay, so I brought you over here to this side of the stove and we're going to put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of this skillet and we're gonna work it around the skillet so that you got a thin layer in the bottom. You're gonna need this to be cut on medium-high heat, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna cook these little medallions piece by piece, batch by batch, until they're all done. And once they are, you're going to remove them and set them aside. And then we'll start with the sauce and everything. So let me get this heated up and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so I'm slowly adding these pork in by batches. You just need to make sure that they get cooked, not really well, but pretty close to really well. And that they're seared on both sides. So it may take you a little while to get this part done. And I'm not gonna make you sit through all that, but you're just gonna take your little pork pieces and you're gonna cook them. And after you take these out, you're supposed to saute some onion, your green pieces of onion in here. But like I said, I use that on another recipe. So probably what we'll do is we'll just add the sauce back in and just skip the onion part. This is supposed to be with green onions. I don't think I have enough of the recipe because I think you need 5 to 6. And I don't have that many. I have enough for maybe half that. So we do have the onion flavor on there. Now also, because I added onion powder, also don't forget that these are very thin. So they'll cook really quick and they're boneless. So, all right. I will be right back with the next step. Okay, y'all. So we don't have the green onions to put in this, but you're welcome to slice up some really thin white onion and put in there, yellow onion, you know, whatever, regular onion, if you prefer. If not, you need some sliced green onions, about 5 to 6 of those, and you're going to saute them in the oil that was left over from the meat before you add the sauce. But I just went ahead and drained went ahead and drained the grease, because we're just going to move on to the sauce. I've got the sauce in here warming up now. And then I'm just going to add the meat to it. And then I'm just going to cook it for probably under 5 minutes or so, because all this needs to do is warm up. And I've got some rice cooking right now. And I'm just going to serve it all together. So we're going to stir all this up. And you can, of course, double the sauce if you want more. I just wanted more like of a glaze type amount, you know, where it just kind of glazed over the meat just a little bit. I didn't want anything crazy. I mean, this has got like some spice to it, some barbecue smoky flavor to it. So all I want to do is just warm it up and add it to my rice, and it's going to be a done deal. We'll be done with this and moving on to dessert. So let me get all this mixed together, and I'm just going to let it sit in the pan for just a few minutes, like I said, and warm up. You don't want to do it too much because this does have brown sugar and it will burn. So just keep that in mind. Don't let it do it too long. But 2 tenderloin, I mean, this was $7 for this meat, and it made a lot of meat. So this will be very affordable and budget friendly. And you add some rice to it, which is literally pennies. Any type of rice you want, your favorite, doesn't matter. And you've got a meal. So let this simmer for a few minutes and warm up. Let me finish my rice, and then I will come back with presentation at the end. Okay, y'all, so this is the finished product. It is a little bit spicy, so if you don't like spice, you may need to slack up on the sriracha. But other than that, it's good. Tastes great. Paired it with some rice and a little bit of green onions, and supper is ready. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.